courage is not found in chaos. It is not the loudest roar in the room, nor the blind sprint into danger. True courage is the quiet calculation behind a man's eyes when he knows the cost and moves forward anyway. Not because he's fearless, but because he understands the value of fear. The masses confuse courage with recklessness. They cheer for those who leap without thinking, who throw themselves at the world without strategy. But power is not earned by the desperate. Power belongs to those who think before they strike, who master the moment before they act. In the world of the powerful, courage is not a feeling. It is a decision made in silence. It is control over the instincts that make others weak. The powerful do not waste energy proving themselves in every battle. They understand that sometimes courage means retreating to strike at a better time. Sometimes it means standing still while others destroy themselves trying to impress the crowd. Most men fall because they act before they understand. The courageous man wins because he waits until his enemy is exposed. He does not flinch. He calculates, he watches, and then, when the time is right, he acts with such precision that others mistake it for boldness. But it is not boldness. It is control. There is no virtue in dying for nothing. The powerful man is not interested in heroic sacrifice. He is interested in survival, in leverage, in dominance. And to dominate, one must know when courage is needed, and when it is a trap. It takes greater courage to say no to impulse than to obey it. The world rewards those who act as if they have no fear, but it bows to those who make fear their servant. The lion that roars before it strikes only warns its prey, but the lion that moves in silence controls the moment of death. This is courage in quiet, measured, unshakable. Every man faces a moment where he must decide. Retreat to comfort or advance toward danger. The weak either run or throw themselves at the fire without plan. But the one who pauses, who sees the whole field, who considers the cost and still proceeds, he alone possesses real courage. And in that courage, there is power, not the temporary power of applause, but the lasting power of control. The ability to shape reality, not react to it. The ability to decide how the game ends, rather than beg for mercy when it turns against him. Courage is not what the world tells you it is. It is not loud, not impulsive, not naive. It is built in silence. It is sharpened in solitude. It grows in the mind of the man who knows the danger, knows the risk, and still walks forward. Not because he believes in luck, but because he believes in his own judgment. The world is ruled by those who act at the perfect time, and the perfect time only reveals itself to those with the discipline to wait for it. To wait, to observe, to study, and then, when no one expects it, to strike without hesitation. Fear is often mistaken for weakness by those who do not understand it. But the truth is this fear is a force. It is a weapon, not a wound. The man who learns to observe his fear without being ruled by it becomes dangerous. Not because he eliminates fear, but because he transforms it. He studies it, feels it, and then bends it to his will. This kind of man does not flee when fear rises. He analyzes it. He does not mask it with false confidence. He uses it to anticipate risk. Fear sharpens his vision, clarifies his strategy, and warns him of the weak points in himself and others. Those who fear their own fear are slaves to it. They react, they hesitate, they collapse. But those who master fear gain a powerful tool. The world is filled with people pretending to be brave while crumbling inside. They put on shows of strength, loud gestures, and reckless declarations, all in an attempt to convince others and themselves that they are in control. But control is not loud. Control is precise. The man who has conquered his fear does not need to prove anything. He remains silent while others scream. He remains still while others panic. He moves when it serves him, not when emotion demands it. Fear, when understood, reveals how others think. It exposes pressure points. It shows you what they cling to, what they will protect, what they will betray. The fearful man becomes readable, predictable, and those who are predictable can be manipulated. If you know what a man fears, you know how to move him. You can corner him without touching him. You can make him destroy himself without raising your voice. Fear becomes not only a personal discipline, but a psychological weapon. The calmest man in the room is often the one who has mastered his own terror. This is why the powerful respect fear. They do not run from it, nor do they surrender to it. They study it like a language. In negotiations, they recognize the tremble in a voice, the flicker of hesitation in the eyes, the tightening of the jaw. In battle, they simply withdraw. They see the moment when the enemy's courage begins to break. Fear is visible to those who understand it, and invisible to those who don't. And it is in this space, this invisible battlefield, where the game is truly played. To control fear is to control perception. To To control perception is to control reality. What separates the ruler from the ruled is not the absence of fear, but the ability to wear it like armor. While others crumble beneath it, he wears it beneath the skin. It becomes part of him, a silent compass guiding him through chaos. And with that power, he can push further than others, risk more than others, and see deeper than others. He becomes immune to panic. He does not flinch when confronted with threats, because he has already calculated their weight. Fear no longer dictates his limits, it defines his edge. Virtue is a currency, but like all currencies, it gains its power through perception, not purity. The wise do not waste themselves trying to be good in a world that rewards appearances over substance. They understand that it is far more useful to appear courageous, generous, and just than to be enslaved by the burdens of truly living those ideals. The masses crave illusions. They want to see symbols of strength, not question the machinery behind them. And so the strategic mind wraps himself in the image of virtue, wearing it like armor while underneath, he sharpens his blade. To possess true virtue is a heavy burden. It demands consistency, sacrifice, and often weakness. Those who strive to be truly virtuous tie their hands with principles. Even when the moment calls for brutality or deception, they become predictable, bound by a moral code that can be used against them. But the man who understands the power of illusion walks with freedom. He can adopt the face of mercy when it suits him, or the mask of nobility when the crowd demands a hero. But beneath the surface, his only loyalty is to advantage. The appearance of courage can inspire armies. The reality of it can destroy leaders. Knowing which one to wear is the difference between power and downfall. Crowds do not dig deep. They see what they are shown. They are moved by symbols, by gestures, by posture. One decisive act of public bravery can erase 1,000 private acts of fear. One speech can rewrite failure into sacrifice. One image can paint a coward as a martyr. The wise man knows this. He performs when it matters, not when it's real. He builds a legend, not a life. He gives people the story they want, and uses that story to tighten his grip on power. Virtue is most effective when it is theatrical. A well-timed display of humility, a fabricated moment of outrage, a carefully calculated act of generosity. All of these can turn public opinion, reshape alliances, and disguise ambition. And while the crowd applauds the performance, the true work of domination continues in silence, unaffected by their praise or judgment. The man who craves power does not need to be good. He only needs to seem better than his enemies. This manipulation of perception is not dishonor. It is survival. In a world that punishes honesty and rewards spectacle, the ability to wear masks is not deception, it is strategy. Appearances shape decisions. Appearances influence loyalty. Appearances build empires. To ignore that is to fight with a dull sword. Those who cling to their integrity as if it were sacred become martyrs. But those who wield the illusion of integrity become rulers. They simply withdraw. They bend the world with performance while keeping their true intentions hidden beneath the skin. They control the theater while others get lost in the act. Power recognizes movement, not words. It is drawn to those who act when others hesitate, who decide when others doubt, who risk when others retreat. The world does not remember the cautious, nor does it follow the hesitant. It bows to those who possess the resolve to make harsh choices without seeking permission. This resolve, this cold commitment to action, is what courage looks like in the hands of those who rule. It is not about noise, it is not about inspiration. It is about dominance. Those who wait for the right mood, the right support, the right reassurance are already defeated. The man who seizes the moment, even if blood is required, is the one who shapes the outcome. Power never rewards hesitation. Opportunities are not patient. They pass through the hands of the bold while the cautious are still weighing their options. There is no prize for good intentions, no honor for the one who almost acted. The world forgets the almost. It only remembers results. And results come from those who are willing to act without guarantee, to speak without asking, to strike without waiting for applause. When others are frozen by the fear of failure, the one who moves forward, even with uncertainty, becomes the leader by default. Courage in this world is not about the absence of doubt. It is about advancing while doubt still whispers. The man who waits for perfect clarity never moves. The man who demands certainty will only follow. But the one who steps forward in chaos, with a steady hand and a fixed mind, commands the respect of those who could not. Ruthless resolve does not mean rage or emotion. It means unshakable decision. It means acting when the cost is high because the reward is power. It means cutting ties, breaking alliances, and burning bridges if they no longer serve the path forward. There will always be resistance to the man who moves with resolve. The fearful will call him reckless. The moral will call him cruel. But history does not weep for the opinions of the defeated. It only records the names of the victorious. Those who rise do so because they are willing to do what the others won't. They walk into conflict while others seek comfort. They embrace solitude while others beg for approval. They act when others talk. And through that relentless forward motion, they establish themselves not just as participants, but as rulers. True courage is found in resolve that cannot be negotiated. It is the discipline to act without emotion, to choose without consensus, to lead without sympathy. The world may fear that kind of will, but it always obeys it. No crown is given to the most agreeable. No throne is inherited by the soft-hearted. It is taken, always taken, by those who can carry the weight of decision without trembling. Those who can accept being hated, being questioned, even being alone, because the outcome is worth more than their comfort. Power does not reward the careful. It does not favor the safe, the comfortable, or the well-liked. The path to dominance is littered with the corpses of those who sought approval over effectiveness, who clung to reputation while letting opportunities pass. If you wish to rise, you must be willing to lose everything you once thought you needed. Your name, image, your alliances. None of these are sacred if they stand in the way of control. The man who fears disgrace can be blackmailed. The man who fears judgment can be manipulated. The man who fears loss cannot take what is not freely given. But the one who abandons fear, who risks ruin for conquest, becomes unstoppable. Those who chase power cannot afford sentiment. Every attachment is a chain. Every comfort is a sedative. The world teaches you to protect your image, to be agreeable, to avoid confrontation. But the powerful do not submit to those teachings. They offend when it serves them. They provoke when silence would be easier. They walk away from praise when it no longer benefits them. Because they understand this truth on. Reputation is a costume, not a crown. It can be worn or discarded at will. And those who can remove it without hesitation possess a freedom others cannot understand. You do not climb by pleasing. You climb by cutting. You climb by stepping on what others protect. If a reputation stands between you and victory, you destroy it. If comfort slows your advance, you burn it. If others label you ruthless, let them. Their judgment is the price of their own weakness. Your strength is measured not by how many admire you, but by how many obey you. And they will obey, not because they like you, but because they fear the consequences of standing in your way. That fear is earned, not gifted. And it is earned by demonstrating that you are willing to risk everything they are too afraid to lose. The man who reaches the top does not arrive clean. He is bloodied, he is scarred. He has been called traitor, villain, tyrant. But he stands where others have fallen because he did what they refused to do. He accepted that war cannot be won with a soft hand, that conquest requires sacrifice not of others alone, but of the self, of peace, of comfort, of the illusion of moral purity. These things are the luxuries of the ruled, not the tools of the ruler. Those who fear the loss of their image are trapped by it. They behave to maintain it, they choose weakness to preserve it, they deny opportunity to protect it. But power is not loyal to those who fear its cost. It answers only to those who embrace risk so fully that they no longer see risk as danger but as leverage. Reputation can be rebuilt. Image can be repaired. Power, once seized, makes all else forgivable in time. But it must be taken first, and it is only taken by those willing to gamble with their very identity. Power does not yield to the passive, nor does it reward those who wait for permission. It bends to the will of those who understand fear, who master illusion, who act with ruthless resolve, and who risk their very name in the pursuit of dominance. Courage is not found in comfort, applause, or virtue. It is forged in silence, in sacrifice, and in strategy. The world is ruled not by the loudest, but by the coldest, not by the most liked, but by the most calculated. In a world built on appearances, the man who controls perception controls reality. And in a game where most protect their image, the one who dares to move without fear of loss becomes untouchable. Courage is not a feeling. It is the final weapon of the one who intends not just to survive, but to rule.